Hi there, my name's Elizabeth Chorney-Booth and I am a freelance journalist based in Calgary. I'm the regular restaurant columnist for the Calgary Herald, the food trends columnist for CBC Radio's The Home Stretch, and a contributor to publications like the Globe and Mail, CNN Travel, WestJet Magazine, Avenue Magazine, and many others. Today I'm reporting to you for Friends of Canadian Broadcasting. Food and travel are my main beats, which have clearly been hit really hard by the COVID-19 pandemic. Over the last couple months, I've been working hard to follow what Calgary restaurants have been doing to stay afloat during this pandemic when dining rooms are closed. So, dining rooms here in Alberta officially opened on May 14th, with the exception of those in Brooks and Calgary, where the pandemic just hit a little bit harder. Currently, restaurants in the city of Calgary are scheduled to reopen on May 25th, but a lot of places have already said that they have no intentions of opening until they know for sure that they can do so in a way that's safe for both their staff and guests. To explore this, I caught up with Stephen Deere. He's the owner of the Modern Steak and Modern Ocean restaurants, both of which have actually been doing pretty well with their takeout game, but he still says that there have been plenty of challenges facing his business. So I wanted to talk to him about his decision not to reopen right away and what he thinks is in store for the rest of the industry. So hi, Stephen, how are you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm well. So, I think this interview, originally we were going to talk about your decision to hold off on reopening because here in Alberta, the province announced that restaurants could reopen on May 14th. But of course that has been changed because now Calgary restaurants can't reopen until the 25th. Right. That's I know that you had already issued a public statement saying that you had no plans to immediately open your restaurants. Can you tell me a little bit why you made that decision?
Well, when the initial announcement came out that we could reopen, there was very little guidelines, and that was probably honestly my biggest concern. And my feeling was there was no win in being first for us. And deep down inside, I felt like I had a gut feeling, and it came true, that the 14th wasn't going to happen anyways. Hindsight is what it is, but I just felt that we weren't the city wasn't quite ready. We weren't quite ready. The government wasn't giving us all the information. Like, really, the guidelines were sent out, I believe, on the Monday or Tuesday, which was tight. And lucky we do a lot of those protocols already anyway, so it wasn't anything out of the norm. But and the flip side for us is we also have, our buildings are large. Like, our downtown location is 3 concepts and 16,000 square feet. It's not something you can turn around on a dime since you've been closed for 2 months. So it was a lot of factors, safety being the biggest, obviously, and waiting for what needed to be done. Those guidelines have been established, and I think our goal is on the next one, which is the 25th. We're still not going to be opening on the 25th. We'll probably look somewhere around a week later.
On that note, I think a lot of us are a little leery of going back into dining rooms once the opening is allowed. But I also have seen a lot of people who don't typically support local restaurants making the choice to support local. So do you think that even if people are a little skittish or think it might be a little weird to be in a dining room that's only 50% full, do you expect people will come out once you are able to reopen?
It's going to be kind of yes. The answer, I guess the easy answer is yes. People are going to want to go out. We know that. We've seen through our guest interaction through social media that people are definitely raring to come back and support. But everyone's going to do it on their own time and in their own way, and there'll be stages. I think there's going to be, the first wave will come through, and then as people feel more comfortable, more and more will come through. And there will be people that will not, and we understand that, and we totally respect that.
Do you have any advice to other restaurateurs who might be watching this in other provinces about what they should be looking at once dates are announced for their reopenings?
Staff training and communication, I think, is probably the biggest one, because they are invested too, and I think they know part of their livelihood is on the line, and they want to be working these places. So I think you should always be taking care of your employees first over everything, or nothing else works. So I think the training, communication, and making sure that they're comfortable and feel safe is probably the number one priority. And then almost everything after that is quite smooth. And keep it in your own wheelhouse. You don't need to run big menus. You don't need to have large staff. You don't need to overcompensate. You can limit your hours. I think it's important to, the big X factor in a lot of this stuff is, yes, we're taking into account safety of the guests and safety of the employee, but we need to make sure that we're opening and we can at least do it at a break-even level. And not everyone's going to have that option, depending on how dining rooms are designed, spaced, and what each province is going to do. So, you know, you may only need a handful of people to run your operation, and you're going to have to, it will suck, but if you can do it at a break-even point, that's the first step of getting the machine going. So communication with staff first, baby steps second, keep it safe, keep it in the wheelhouse, and then keep expanding from there. This is definitely a Rome wasn't built in a day scenario, so there's no need to plan on doing, you know, hundreds of covers on the first day when you're not ready. So just keep it under control. There's no need to let it go and get wild.
Right. And from my end, as a journalist who speaks largely to the consumer side, I mean, I guess it's up to sending the message to guests to not to expect it to be like it was in January, that we all have to be easy on our restaurants and, you know, change our expectations, but realize that, you know, supporting you now means that you're still going to be here for us 2 years down the line, 5 years down the line, etc.
Exactly. And the thing is, a vibrant city needs vibrant restaurants and unique spaces. And, you know, it's all part of our job with the best of our capability. I don't want someone to go in debt or feel like they need to miss a mortgage payment because they feel they got to support a local restaurant. That's not what we're asking. We just want people to do what they can and support who they think they need to, their favorites, etc. And it'll all work itself out in the end. And that's all we can ask really from our guests.
Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
There's certainly a lot for both restaurants and journalists like me to consider over the coming months, and I know I'll be following these stories really closely. In the meantime, if you have the means, please try to support your favorite restaurants and stay safe. Thanks for joining me.